Morning, my friends. As the mystery school, we have gone light speed the last month, and I hope everyone's coming with us. I hope everyone's having a good time. First, I have a video to recommend. It's very rare I get to recommend a video, and now we know why. The difference between rung polishing and doing the thing. If you're still having trouble, which should be everyone, if you're having trouble with do not judge, it's the difference between polishing the rungs and doing the thing, hanging out in the hallway or going through the door. One of the greatest videos I've ever made that makes it so obvious, so clear, can't miss it. The School of Athens. Go watch that video if you're still having trouble with it, because it's going to help you out so much. Your mind is going to be in a paradox. You're not going to be able to think your way out of it. Most of you, I can't even show you the paradox, the way that your ego protects you, the way that when you discover the paradox, you step out into the void. You step past all the good and evil, the trees of good and evil itself. So let me show you the video. You know what you should notice in our current studies? That this is valuable information, but this is rung polishing. We should notice this everywhere in your life. You know what's the sad thing? You're going to find out only, that's the difference. Only the mystery school is doing the thing. And the whole entire world is a rung polisher. And that's what I've been making videos on for the last 15 years. When I make a video on Jordan Peterson and I'm saying the intellectuals aren't smart people, because they're not showing you how to do the thing. You're all just polishing rungs on a ladder that you'll never climb. So this is fun history if you haven't learned, because it's not in the news, that we've learned how to read the Sumerian tablets.
What if the story of a world-ending flood wasn't first written in Hebrew, but pressed into clay tablets 1,000 years earlier by hands that claim to remember what came before? What if the oldest libraries on Earth weren't filled with mythology, but with testimony, preserved by scribes who believed they were recording not legend, but survival? Beneath the sands of ancient Mesopotamia and fragments scattered across museums...
You're going to find out that all the world's religions are identical. All the world's atheists are the other pillar. Every single culture, we already know it. Every single culture, every single religion, every single bit of it has identically the same information, because there was only one thing to do. There's only one rung to polish and one thing to do. There's not different religions. There's not different anything. There is the duality that we've painted over top of it. There's the costume that we've dressed up everything in, but we already know it before the Sumerian tablets were able to be read, that the story of Noah's flood is worldwide. It's in every single culture that could ever be. They all got it from the Sumerians and the worldwide cataclysm.
In vaults and forgotten excavation sites lies a collection of clay tablets that predate the Bible, predate the Greeks, predate nearly every civilization we think we know. And carved into those tablets, in wedge-shaped script older than the pyramids, is an account of a catastrophic flood so detailed, so specific, that when archaeologists first translated them in the 19th century, they stopped and stared in silence. Because the Sumerians had written it all down first. The Ark, the divine warning, the animals saved in pairs, the sole family chosen to survive, the waters that drowned the world. Every element we associate with Noah's flood appears in Sumerian records, but earlier, stranger, and filled with details that feel less like
You
myth.
know what you're going to learn from these videos? That these people were masters of the cosmos. They were masters of the land and masters of the cosmos. And they did it all through eclipse geometry, as far as them knowing high mathematics is from observations and from the old world, showing that there's one code of reality that they were documenting.
And more like documentation. Before we descend too deeply into these ancient mysteries, take just a moment to...
It's all there in the snowflake. See, that's how you know it's a real world thing. We go back to the old world and we find out that they could see the world differently, as in they looked up at the sky and they saw a stairway to heaven. For us, that is fantastical. We can't imagine the world with a different atmosphere. Once you've seen all these artifacts and you understand that that was really real, that that's not an opinion, that in the night sky, they literally saw a DNA helix between two pillars, and it burst open with seeds and showered life everywhere. And that's what they saw in the nighttime sky. So for us, we don't see that. So do we see any remnant of it? Do we see anything that points to that, the snowflake? It's reality itself. The snowflake is the proof of the entire thing. While we have that hexagon on Saturn, the same thing happens with the snowflake. The same thing is the flower of life. The same thing is everywhere. It's a code of reality itself, where all the teachings come out of it. I think that's the part where you guys don't see that yet. You don't see. Do you see? Jane saw it. Do you guys see how the door and the pillars are already baked into the flower of life? Well, if you understand that the door of Jesus Christ is already baked in to the flower of life, that means the teaching is already there. That means that the teaching was at the foundations. That's how it's at the foundations, guys. How do you think that, like, the teachings of Jesus Christ are at the foundations of creation? Because they're written in geometry. The literal teaching of do not judge. All these teachings, they come from the foundation of, they're written in geometry before they're in language. And the language comes out of it. All you have to do is look at the flower of life, see how it's all self-explanatory. If you understand that the duality is baked into it, well, then you can learn everything about duality because it's baked into it. Since the door of Jesus Christ is baked into it, all the teachings of do not judge are already baked into it. But let me show you with this video. See, you're really going to understand the do not judge thing through that Athens video, the School of Athens, through the difference. It's going to change your whole life. It's going to change the way that you perceive everything. And it's going to give you pretzel brain. It's going to bring a clarity that you've never had. While at the same time, it's like nothing you've ever done before, so your brain doesn't even know how to operate in the middle path. It'll be confusing. You'll have it for 1 second, and then you'll lose it because your dualistic thinking will kick in. So look at this. This is how do not judge actually worked. But what we're looking for right here is the difference between doing the thing and measuring the hallway. You know, in the Athens video, really shows it. All those scholars standing in the hallway, everyone believing that that shit is intelligence, and all they're doing is measuring things with their measuring sticks, polishing the rungs, hanging out in the hallway, and then we ask them, where's the part where we go through the door? See, that's what the world doesn't offer. The part where you get to go through the door. The world is just one big rung polishing contest. So I'm going to play the video, and I want you to hear it through that context, though. The difference between doing the thing or measuring the hallway.
There is a kind of parasite in your mind right now. It's stopping you from seeing reality. And I want to tell you that I'm not using that word poetically. I mean the biological definition of a parasite. And a parasite has 4 basic traits. It needs a host. It consumes the resources of the...
He'd be talking about the demiurge. He'd literally be talking about the demiurge, the ego. And what is it doing? How is do not judge so different than we thought it was? Because we were judging, and the act of that prevents you from understanding what it is, how it works, how it functions.
The host. It alters the host's behavior to promote its own survival. And 4, it replicates through the host into a new host. Language meets every criteria of a parasite, and I'm going to prove it to you. I want to literally show you this thing inside of your head right now. I'm going to put something very simple on your screen, but I don't want you to think about it. I just want you to notice what your mind does the moment that it appears on the screen. Are you ready? Here it is.
Polish the rung. See, understand, it's the difference between doing the thing and measuring the hallway. Polishing the rung of the ladder, but never climbing the ladder. So immediately your brain prevents you from doing the thing, and you measure the rung instead. So when he says, what do you think? Your brain goes into polishing the rung over doing the thing. Then you think polishing the rung is somehow intelligence, and you fooled yourself with do not judge, while you think do not judge is something else.
It does the moment that it appears on the screen. Are you ready? Here it is. I guarantee you something happened inside your head before you realized it. We're going to go to experiment number 2 now. I just want you to watch what your mind does. Here it is. And instantly, without your permission, your mind starts whispering in your head.
You know how I'm always telling you my videos are really difficult for me to make because I'm always trying to take you to the experience. I'm always telling you the words fall short, and I'm trying to, because they're just words, and I'm trying to get you to understand something through bringing you the experience. And I try analogy after analogy. Did you know that that's the difference? That I'm taking you to the thing rather than polishing the rung of it. That I'm just going to say, that's what makes me so different. When I teach you, I'm constantly looking to bring you to the thing. I'm constantly like, I already know you're not learning anything real. You're not doing anything. You're polishing the rung, and you want information about measuring the hallway and polishing the rung. And then I'm trying to take you to the experience because you'll never learn it for real. You'll never understand it unless we actually do the thing.
Mona Lisa, Da Vinci, famous painting, triangle, before your eyes were done.
Do you know why when I look at, I don't know, the Mason symbolism, whatever, it's all the same. Why the story, I don't care about the story. Why I can go around the world just doing pattern recognition I'm spot on with it. I go to every culture. I go around the world for all time, picking out the same exact code, the same exact geometry. I don't care about the costume that they dressed it up in. I don't care about the story. All of it has the same origin. All of it's the same mathematics. You're fooled. You know what's fooling you? The rung polishing while I'm doing the thing. Would anybody ever discover all the discoveries I made through listening to the stories? The stories of the costumes. You've been listening to the costume going, it's an opinion. There's another culture that has an opinion. People have an opinion. That was all the rung polishing. There was an underlying truth under everything. And you can only get there through pattern. And look at the difference here. The pattern recognition is doing the thing. The rung polishing is listening to the stories of all the cultures.
Da Vinci, famous painting, triangle, before your eyes were done looking. You didn't experience the thing first. Your brain named it.
Now understand, this is what do not judge was, guys. You have a version that prevents you from ever knowing what it is because you think it's us versus them. You're thinking in the dualistic way, and it prevents you from ever knowing how much you miss the mark. Look how far we're off with the ego version, with the rung polishing version. It's the experience over the rung polishing. What's the experience versus what's the ego's experience? The ego's experience is to name something. The ego's experience is to think if it has a definition, then it knows what something is. No, the definition isn't what something is. The experience is there's a difference between doing the thing and polishing the rung. That's how to understand do not judge. It was nothing like you thought it was.
Were done looking. You didn't experience the thing first. Your brain named it first.
And I love how he called it the thing. Because that's my terminology. That's Zen Buddhist terminology, is polishing the rung or doing the thing. Look at how do not judge. Look at how it was that your ego intercepts it first. Look at how do not judge meant your ego's in the driver's seat and it's intercepting the information first. That's what do not judging is, how your ego, you've put your ego first to interpret information. That does not happen with a neurodivergent person. That's the whole thing of being neurodivergent. Understand, I don't have that ego filter. So when you hear things, you're filtering them through the ego. You're filtering them through duality, and it's making you polish the rung over doing the thing. Look at how this has nothing to do with what you thought it did, us versus them. Do not judge has nothing to do with us versus them. It has nothing to do with the mind trap of, I shouldn't judge that person. It's not about judging other people. It has nothing to do with other people. And it has everything to do with the way you think. Do you know why you would never, ever, ever figure this out? Because you would forever go around going, am I supposed to not judge that person? Wait a minute, they did evil, and I'm supposed to call out evil, but then I'm not supposed to. That's not what do not judge was. You're so far away from it with that old shit, us versus them, and I shouldn't judge that person. You've missed the mark so incredibly fucking far, because it was the difference between polish. It was personal. It didn't have to do with judging other people. It didn't have to do with looking outside of yourself. It's a function of your own brain. It's a function of your consciousness. It's to put the ego to learn the distinction between the voice of your ego and put that second. Put your true, who's intercepting the information here? See, look what's happening. The ego's intercepting the information and convincing you that the rung polishing is somehow doing the thing. That's how you're confused. You're confused into, you don't know the difference between polishing the rung or doing the fucking thing. That's what Do Not Judge was.
Da Vinci, famous painting, triangle, before your eyes were done looking. You didn't experience the thing first. Your brain named it first. Most people don't realize it, but this happens to our entire lives.
And you think the name is somehow knowing what the thing is. No, the name, the definition, is polishing the rung. No, you've been fooling yourself your entire life by not doing the experience, by not even knowing the difference, by not knowing what the difference is between polishing the rung and doing the thing.
We label emotions before we feel them. We label people.
Look, we label emotions before we feel them. We label people. That's what Do Not Judge was, guys. It's an operating system. Your brain is operating under the system of filtering information through your ego before it gets to your true self. So by default, if our ego is first, our ego is going to intercept the information and turn it into rung polishing, convincing us that, oh, the definition is the thing. No, the definition isn't the thing. The definition is polishing the rung. The name is the thing. I'm smart. I know what it is. I know the name. No, the name isn't. You don't know what it is. You don't know what the thing is. You know how to polish the rung of it. You know how to measure the hallway, but you never go through the door.
We label emotions before we feel them. We label people before we get to know them. We label ourselves before maybe we get a chance to.
Then you'll understand this clearly. There'll be moments of this video right here, where it'll come to you crystal fucking clear. Then the moment you try to think about it, it's gone because you engaged the rung polishing. The moment that you try to think about this with your dualistic mind, you go right, it's like you didn't understand it, because all you know is the us versus them version. And when you try to think about this, you'll have moments of crystal clarity. Then you'll try to analyze it. Okay, what is Do Not Judge? Then you lost it. All of a sudden it was gone, because we're trying to figure it out through rung polishing mode. You'll never figure this out through the ego. You'll just go back to default, us versus them.
Decide if something is true or not. Language is jumping in front of every experience, and it's hijacking.
Language is jumping in front of every experience, and it's hijacking you of experiencing the thing, making you think experiencing the thing is polishing the rung of it, measuring the hallway of it.
We get to know them. We label ourselves before maybe we get a chance to decide if something is true or not. Language is jumping in front of every experience, and it's hijacking it. Let me show you just how deep this really goes. Your language doesn't just name things. Your language creates the categories of things that you see. As an example, different cultures divide the world in completely different ways. And because of that, they literally perceive different realities. If your language has no...
It's a perception of reality. It's an operating system.
...word for a certain color, your brain becomes way slower or even completely unable to see that color. The category shapes the perception. So your language isn't really describing your world, it's deciding what your world contains. We do not think with logic. We think with metaphors that we did not choose ourselves. Just think of like the metaphors that we live by. There's thousands that are programmed into.
And then all of this is already told in the geometry of the flower of life with the two pillars and the door. So everything he's already saying is baked into the flower of life at the foundations of creation. That's where it gets real beautiful, guys. If you understand that all the teachings, the math, there's no difference. There's not a you guys think that there's the teachings couldn't come out of the geometry? They absolutely did. They're baked into it from the foundations of all this was already told from the foundations of creation. All of this is already contained in the flower of life. All this information, it's already there before language, before civilization. All of this already existed. All these teachings already existed.
Our psyche.
Do you know that that's what they've been hiding for the last 5,000 years? That's what all the masons and the pillars and the doors and all of this is what they've been hiding, because it's the most valuable shit that there ever was. The code of reality that contains all the teachings, contains everything, contains all science, all mathematics, all the way human beings think, contains all of it, every single bit. You know, if you listen to that first video, the Sumerian stuff, they already had all of this and knew how it worked. That's how their civilization rose from nothing and was already technologically advanced, because the flower already gives you it gives you the Mayan calendar. It gives you a calendar so that you can farm. It gives you, that's what the Mayan calendar, the Sumerian calendar is, this geometry. It's the flower of life. The flower of life is a calendar, is technology. It's everything that could ever be. Also tells you how human beings think. All the teachings also come out of it. Also, if you didn't understand all the videos that I'm making, well, you can't challenge what I'm saying. You can only prove it, because it's the truth.
Money. Love is a journey. The mind is a container. None of these things are facts. They're metaphors that became little prisons for us. Every belief that you've ever held, every certainty, every fear, every limitation that you think is just who you are, was shaped inside of a language that you didn't choose. You didn't pick the categories, the metaphors to understand yourself. You didn't pick the metaphors you used to know who you are as a person. You inherited these things. If you grew up and you heard words like lazy.
That's the true do not judge. As in, you figure out, oh my God, it's not a blame game. It's not a finger pointing thing. You realize that you installed Demiurge OS, and then you go, oopsie, oops, I didn't realize that all the judgment made me think that I was king of the world. All the judgment made me think I was free. But now I see that it's a prison that I've been building myself.
To understand yourself, you didn't pick the metaphors you used to.
Look at how this is, you know, if you lived a life thinking that all of this was about shame and finger pointing, boy, are you going to look stupid. Boy, are you going to have egg on your face. Boy, is a big clown going to come up and hit you with a pie in the face. Because all of this wasn't about self-loathing, being shameful, God's upset at me. Oh, I got to live up to God's standards. Boy, are you going to feel stupid when you figure out all of this comes down to, oopsie, I installed Demiurge OS. Oops. How do we install Christ OS? Look how he's explaining it. Because this is the book of Revelations. Because God was never mad at you. Oh, you're going to feel so stupid living a life thinking God was mad at you and all this shit was morality. Because look, it's an oopsie. I didn't realize what I was doing. Oopsie. How do we fix the problem? Now, oops. Regular old human being mistake. Oops.
categories, the metaphors to understand yourself. You didn't pick the metaphors you used to know who you are as a person. You inherited these things. If you grew up and you heard words like lazy or not enough or problematic or dramatic, quiet, difficult, shy, gifted, maybe smart, maybe broken, they didn't describe you, they became you. And the moment that someone labeled you, your mind built a world around that label, and the world became a huge cage. So language doesn't reflect your identity, it constructs the identity. In my opinion, the scariest part of that is once the...
Are you seeing? It's going to come to you crystal clear that this is what do not judge always was. Then when you try to analyze it, you're going to lose it, because you're going to go right back into that dualistic mind. But do you see how much everybody, and I mean everybody, your family, everyone you've ever known, brother, sister, mother, father, grandpa, grandma, every friend that ever was, everyone you've ever seen, every enemy you've ever had, every single person was so far away from what it actually meant.
Construction of the identity is complete, we defend it like crazy. We protect the thing that is limiting us. We say things like, that's just my personality, or I've always been like this. Like our identity is some kind of geological...
Listen to how it's all the teachings. Listen to how it's the road to Damascus. It's the story of Saul before he became Paul. This is the difference. Sal used to use the brain this way. Then when he fell off of his horse, got a look in the mirror, he started doing the non-judgmental. He uninstalled Demiurge OS. This is what it was. This was the difference between how Sal became Paul.
Fact instead of a language program. But answer this question honestly, and this is another experiment. If you had been raised in another family, another culture, another language with different labels and different metaphors and different narratives, would you
And you know what's funny? I want to help you out, because your dumb ego is going to your ego is going to come up with so much shit, so much repeated fucking stupid bullshit. So let me tell you what your ego is telling you right now. Your ego, who is wrong in every single circumstance, is telling you, you mean live in the now? No, you're wrong, always. You don't know how far you missed the mark with all of your definitions. All of your repeated shit that you think makes you smart has made you incredibly dumb. So your ego is telling, when you hear this guy say all this stuff, you're going, I have a definition. I've been told this repeated thing. I don't really know what anything means, but there's this repeat. That's the rung polishing. That's the thing where you have the repeated thing that doesn't do the thing and just polishes the rung, just measures the hallway, where you go, you mean live in the now? You're wrong. Every single circumstance that your ego, all your program shit, that was the judgment that you can't see. It was how you intercepted the information. It's how you repeated information, but don't know how to do the thing. You know how to polish the rung of the thing. You know how to measure the hallway of the thing. But as far as going through the door or actually climbing the ladder, you've never seen it. You've never done it. Because the only thing you've ever done is hang out in the fucking hallway. The only thing that you've done is polish the rung and memorize the different types of wood. The ladder is, you have a million definitions and have memorized the wood, and you know how to polish it and what lemon oil to use. But as far as doing the thing, you've never fucking done that. You've just polished the rung of it over and over, and you hear all this information and then you do it again. You go, you mean live in the now? I have the answer. I'm the smart man. Live in the now. No, that's just you polishing the rung again.
Labels and different metaphors and different narratives, would you be the same person? Of course not. So that means that our identity is not the pure, authentic me that I think I am. It's a side effect of language that raised us. You've only met the version of you that language...
You know what gets interesting? Is if we did take this to before the cataclysm, when the world had a different atmosphere, they didn't have mouths. In the old world, the people didn't need mouths, and literally the cataclysm created human beings it created the meat suit. It created flesh as we know it, and then we needed mouths. So not only did the cataclysm create both sides of the brain, it created all the dualistic thinking. It created this mind prison. By us being locked into the dualism, it also created mouths so that everything gets confused. Everything confused through language. Then language gets put up front. And then we believe the rung polishing of language, the memorization of definitions, is not doing the thing. It's not the thing.
Authentic me that I think I am.
The authentic you is the one doing the thing. Your ego is the one polishing the rung of the thing.
It's a side effect of language that raised us. You've only met the version of you that language allowed you to be. And we spend our lives trying to live up to a sound, a word. And language takes
Do you see how deep do not judge is? That it's making up the entirety of you while you're 100% blind to what do not judge is and think it's us versus them, while it's all consuming. It was an operating system. We have to change the operating system itself and quit thinking that we're rearranging the closet. This isn't a thing of, once I have the closet rearranged, then I'll know what these aren't things where you all of this stuff has to be realized. Then you just stop doing it once you realize it. Once you see the rung polishing, you can't take part in it like you used to because now you see it.
Trying to live up to a sound, a word. And language takes every experience that you have and cuts it down to fit inside of a category that existed way before we were ever born. You never met your mother as she truly is. You met the word mother. You met mom. You started defining it as mom as fast as you can.
If you understand what this guy's really saying, this is going pretty deep. This is going into the operating system of how you experience the totality of reality. The totality. Since you were born, how you think, how you do every single thing. You've never done the thing in all of life. You've never done the thing. You've only polished the rung of it.
You met the word mother. You met mom. You started defining it as mom as fast as you can. In fact, that's the oldest known word ever discovered as a fun fact. How many arguments have you had with people that were never about the situation? They were about the words that you and someone else used.
Look. People don't even have real arguments. They wouldn't know what to debate. That's real. I've never seen an intellectual be smart. You know why? Because they've never done the thing. They polished the rung of it.
Known word ever discovered as a fun fact. How many arguments have you had with people that were never about the situation?
Look, how many arguments have you had with people? That's why I think people are stupid. Because when I have an argument, which I don't argue, I'm arguing for the thing. I don't give a fuck about your fucking stupid shit. I don't care about your stories. I don't care about my ego and I care about the thing. Are we doing the thing? Aren't we having a debate to do the thing? Aren't we figuring out the thing? And then I think everyone's a lame brain fucking idiot I can't even comprehend how they're not fighting for the thing. And in every single circumstance, that's why I say people have a negative IQ, because I'm baffled. I'm arguing for the thing. I'm arguing for humanity. When you argue for the thing, everyone's a win-win. Every single situation. So I'm arguing for a win-win. I'm not even trying to beat anybody. And then on the other side is people arguing for the rung polishing, and nothing goes anywhere. No problem gets solved. It's ego gratification. We don't move forward. We don't figure anything out. We don't solve the problem. And everybody thinks they're high and mighty in their ego, calling everything an opinion. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference of a life? Do not judge was so different than what you thought it was.
Discovered as a fun fact. How many arguments have you had with people that were never about the situation? They were about the words that you and someone else used to describe the situation. How many moments of connection were maybe ruined because people use the same word that had different meaning? And if you think about your emotions, a lot of people don't.
I've never connected with anybody because as a neurodivergent person, I only care about the thing. I've only cared about the thing. So every single person I've ever encountered in my life is a rung polisher. And the neurodivergence, the way that I intercept information, goes into pattern recognition. It bypasses my ego. For you, that information hits your ego first and creates your worldview, creates your opinion, creates all the confusion, all the fucking stupid shit, because information is being filtered through your ego first, making you a rung polisher, while I'm asking, are we ever going to do the thing? Hey guys, we've been hanging out in the hallway forever, measuring the whole fucking thing. At what point do we go through the motherfucking door? Do we ever get to do that? Or do we just stand outside?
Feel sad. They feel the word sadness and everything that the culture taught us to attach
Look. Your whole life, if all of this shit, look at how he's telling us, like this affects you, like how? This has been molding your whole life, making you think things are good, making you think things are bad on the definition of things and not even knowing what the thing is, has sculpted your whole fucking life. Standing in the hallway, measuring the rungs, fighting about this or that. And you've been just standing in the hallway, swinging at ghost, instead of just going through the fucking door.
And different meaning. And if you think about your emotions, a lot of people don't feel sad. They feel the word sadness.
Look,
and everything.
Look, people don't even know what's sad. They feel the definition of the word. They feel their ego has a definition of it, but they don't even know how to do the thing when it comes to being sad. It's a costume. It's a play. They polish the rung of sad, but have never actually experienced it.
Ruined because people use the same word that had different meaning. And if you think about your emotions, a lot of people don't feel sad. They feel the word sadness and everything that the culture taught us to attach to the word sadness. And if you think that you're bored with your life, or maybe you're bored in life right now, I promise that you're not. You're just seeing the world through some linguistic categories that are on repeat. Chair, bottle, hand, normal. All of a sudden, your life becomes a slideshow.
I'm going to tell you again what your ego is doing. If you're trying to think about this, your ego's literally telling you, you know that repeated definition? Well, I got the perfect rung polishing thing. Live in the now. The solution is live. I'm so smart. You're not smart, because you're all doing that. Every single person on repeat. Every single person going to say exactly the same fucking thing, and you have no way to apply it. See, understand that. When I'm talking about doing the thing, I'm talking about you apply things. I'm talking about cause and effect. I'm talking about real things in the real motherfucking world. And do you know what your reality is? A bunch of opinions where no one's ever fucking done anything. So when you go, The solution is live in the now. I say, okay, how do you apply that? And then you figure out, oh, I was just rung polishing. Wait a minute. I don't actually know how to apply live in the now. It's just one of my repeated definitions that make me a fucking rung polisher hanging out in the hallway, thinking I'm so smart. Man, I'm so smart like Aristotle, the dude that hangs out in the hallway. Man, I'm so smart like Plato, the dude measuring everything in the hallway, but never goes through the fucking door.
Of things that we already think we totally understand because we have a label for it. It turns the sacred things into ordinary things.
Turns sacred things. How many times do you take something that's actually important, something that's revolutionary, something that you don't even fucking know what it is, and you just go, oh, my ego has a definition for, I don't have to know what it is. I don't have to do the thing. I don't have to know what the thing is. My ego has a definition. The definition must be doing the thing. Knowing the definition, that's Jordan Peterson. That's every single fucking intellectual. They don't know how to do the thing. They polish the rung of it.
We have a label for it. It turns the sacred things into ordinary things. I want you to feel something and try it out. Wherever you are, look at the nearest object in the room, wherever you're sitting, wherever you're standing. Don't pick a special one, just whatever's closest. Maybe it's a water bottle or a chair, or maybe it's your hand, anything at all. So, all right, you got it?
And watch how you have your ego up front so you don't experience the thing. You label it, you measure it, you polish it. Rather than doing the thing, rather than knowing the thing, you polish the definition of it. You think the definition is the thing.
Good. So now, just for 2 seconds, refuse. I want you to absolutely refuse to name that thing. Don't say the word in your head.
You won't be able to, because it's an operating system. It's not that you reorganize the closet. It's not a thing of, oh, I'll just try not to do that. No, you're trying to reorganize the closet when the closet needs to be burned to the ground.
Don't categorize it. Don't reach for the
You won't be able to help it. You absolutely will because all you're doing right now is rearranging your closet, when how to have this revelation is the road to Damascus. It's the same mirror that Paul saw. There's no 3-step method. There's no 10-step method. That's more rung polishing. That's more of the definition overdoing the thing. What the thing is? The only thing that ever was? The road to Damascus is the wake up. For this, there's no reorganizing the closet. There's no 10-step method. There's no, once I check off all the boxes, I'll have done the thing. No, you polished the rungs and you never did the thing.
Don't say the word in your head. Don't categorize it. Don't reach for the concept of what it is. Just look at it without any language.
You won't be able to, because it requires the Christ OS. You have to uninstall Demiurge OS and let Christ OS shine, which is the man at the door, right in the geometry. It's all told at the foundations of creation, all the teachings already baked into the geometry.
Right there. Notice how fast your mind tries to name it automatically. It's desperate.
Like, look at what he's really explaining. He's explaining what happened in the cataclysm. What happened to humanity when we took on meat suits? What happened when the brain became a dualistic thing? How did us taking on these brand new meat suits after the cataclysm and everything turns into duality, how did it make us think? What was the result? Yeah, this is the trees of good and evil, the real trees of good and evil. It was a cataclysm that had this effect that put us in meat suits. So this is all the symptoms of the cataclysm itself, the effect that it had on humanity was fracturing your brain, was putting your ego first, was making you believe polishing the rung is doing the thing.
Language. Right there. Notice how fast your mind tries to name it automatically. It's desperate. It can't stand not knowing what to call something.
Absolutely. Your ego, it's starving. Your ego, because you won't just be able to turn this off. It requires a whole new operating system. How do you do that? Road to Damascus.
So it's like the mind panics when language goes silent. And I think it does this because without language, you become present. There's a sudden sharpness, increase of reality and clarity.
You're totally right. But this is actually destructive information because the ego, oh boy, is it ever getting that food of where it goes. You mean live in the now? You mean, you said the word be present. Wait a minute. You said, because it's the difference between polishing the rung and doing the thing. Doing the thing is presence. It's life. Living the life. Doing the thing.
Present. There's a sudden...
See, you hear that when he says the word present, you go, I have a definition for that. I know what it is. Live in the now. Live in the now. Well, you've prevented yourself from learning by doing more of your rung polishing.
So it's like the mind panics when language goes silent. And I think it does this because without language, you become present. There's a sudden sharpness, increase of reality and clarity. There's a moment of raw, just presence that almost feels like a memory from childhood. That's when
it's called living in the thing. It's called life, living the thing, doing the thing. It requires a different operating system to turn all of life into doing the thing over thinking the definition of the thing is the thing. You can't just stop it. You can't just decide not to do it.
That's how I would describe it anyway. That's what the world feels like without the parasite jumping in line. The parasite can still be there, but you're just putting it in its actual place where it's meant to.
It's hilarious because he's calling the trees of good and evil. Yeah, it sure is a parasite that we took on. Yeah, you sure are talking about the trees of good and evil and how it affects humanity. And it makes us think we do know what do not judge is. And it's all confusing because the ego's up front. Because the ego is filtering the information first. And the ego just polishes the rung and convinces you polishing the rung is doing the thing.
To be behind experience. I want you to think of the most real moment in your entire life. The moment that punched through everything, like the birth of a child.
The thing. The thing. You mean something that punched through reality when everyone is polishing the rungs, believing polishing the rungs? What would punch through life? What would really affect you? The thing being done?
Maybe a breakup. Maybe a death.
Well, look, all these things were shocking in our life because it was the thing happening. It was the thing. And our entire lives are definitions. Our entire lives are dead man walking and definitions. And then when a thing happens, it's startling to us because we've never done the thing before. We don't know how to do the thing. We just know how to. So everything, life is surprising when the thing happens because we never do the thing. We talk about the thing. We measure the thing. So it's startling when the thing happens.
A child, maybe a breakup, maybe a death. Maybe it was a moment of terror, or maybe it was the kind of just incredible awe that just shuts down your breathing. In that moment,
like a baby being born, and your ego goes, babies are just an opinion. I just measure the rungs of it. And then it's startling when the baby's actually born because you think everything is a definition and an opinion. And then when a baby's born, you go, that's magnificent. Somebody did the thing. I don't do the thing. I polish the thing. I measure the thing. But look, the thing happened. Wow, how revolutionary that somebody did a thing.
There weren't any words. None. Language arrived after
Look,
that
look, this is perfect. In these big moments, like your wife having a baby, the experience happened first. The thing, you actually experienced the thing for the first time, and then the language came. Look at the difference. Look at the feeling. Look at the difference between life and dead man walking.
Or maybe it was the kind of just incredible awe that just shuts down your breathing. In that moment, there weren't any words. None. Language arrived.
There was no word. There was nothing, because you were actually doing the fucking thing.
Awe that just shuts down your breathing. In that moment, there weren't any words. None. Language arrived after that experience, and then it tried to shrink that thing into a sentence, because language couldn't hold the size of what happened.
I know, it's why I can't ever explain anything to you guys, because I'm always trying to take you to the experience, and I'm like, the words fall short. How the fuck do I take you to the thing? I want you to experience. The words mean nothing unless I can take you to the thing, so that you can, because then you'll really understand it. If I can take you to the thing, you'll really know what it is through life experience. Through experiencing it, you will understand it. The definition is a clown show. The definition is a costume that it's all wearing. You don't understand it through the definition. It's a costume. It's a play. It's a rung polishing contest. How do I take you to the thing so you can experience, because that's the only way you're ever going to know it. How do you know that feeling of your own child being born reading it from a book? You can only do the thing. You can only experience the thing. And then how do you explain that experience?
And then it tried to shrink that thing into a sentence, because language couldn't hold the size.
Think of how your ego takes the most miraculous things in the world and downplays all of it. That's everyone. They go, it's just like it could be the biggest miracle, unexplainable, supernatural. And you know what the ego will try to do? Go, oh, it's just that. Oh, it's just this insignificant nothing because I'm smarter, I'm greater, and better because I defined it. Like, hasn't your ego taken everything your entire life and desperately tried to downplay it? Desperately try to say, oh, it's just this. It's like the biggest miracle. Oh, it's just that thing. Oh, how do I downplay it somehow so I can make it look insignificant, and I'm so much smarter and greater. I'll polish the rung of it. You know that your ego has to downplay it that way because it's not doing the thing and it's just polishing the rung of it. So it has to humiliate it. It has to downplay it. It has to act like the miracle is, oh, that was just baby stuff. Oh, that was just regular old baby stuff. That big old miracle that I can't explain. Oh, I'll just explain it away. Then I'll give it a definition and say that I'm smarter. Oh, it was just this thing over there. Not really insignificant, unimportant.
Language arrived after that experience, and then it tried to shrink that thing into a sentence, because language couldn't hold the size of what happened. That is your proof. Every moment that you felt truly alive in your life was so much bigger than the language that you used to describe it. And if language was just a tool, then we could put it down, but we can't.
So, do we see what do not judge actually is? So let's end this one here. There was a lot of other things I wanted to make in this video, but I think we're going to do it in the next video because this is long enough right here. So if you're learning for real, please donate to the Mystery School. Much appreciated. If you want me to continue my work, which that's the difference between the Mystery School, guys. That's why you can't watch anybody but me and actually get real information. I want you to notice that. I want you to go to any other video, anybody, and you're going to notice that that's what's the difference. You're not learning anything from anyone else. Yeah, I'll just say that straight out. It's only the mystery school that teaches. Only. Go watch any other video. Go do anything else. And watch how you never were taught to do the thing. Ever. Everything's dead man walking. Everything is dead information. Everyone is convincing you that you're learning how to do the thing by learning the definition of it. So if you're learning for real, this is the only place you will ever fucking learn, I appreciate your donations greatly. Much love. I hope you have the greatest day.